Two New Zealand households, here 3 different inflation numbers: 4.1% for the country, 3.2% for the average household, 4.5% for superannuitant households. All 3 numbers can be correct. Inflation is not a price stamped on the nation. It is a set of price changes, weighted by what a particular group spends money on. That simple idea explains why rising living costs can feel very different after retirement. In the 12 months to the June 2026 quarter, the household living cost measure rose 4.5% for superannuitant households. It rose 3.7% for beneficiary households and 3.2% for all households. The highest spending household group experienced an increase of only 1.9%. This was not because one group found a secret supermarket. They carried different baskets. Picture 2 kitchen tables. At the first sits a household with a large mortgage. At the second sits an older household that owns its home but lives mainly on New Zealand Superannuation. Both buy electricity, both may pay council rates, directly or through the cost of housing, both buy food, petrol, and other transport, but each cost takes a different share of the money leaving the household. Now let mortgage interest fall while petrol, electricity, and rates rise. The first table receives some relief from the falling cost. The second may have little or no mortgage interest to fall. Its power bill and rates notice keep their full weight. The same economy has reached the 2 tables by different doors. New Zealand therefore publishes more than one kind of inflation measure. The Consumer's Price Index measures price change across New Zealand as a whole. It is the familiar headline number and an important guide for monetary policy. The Household Living Costs Price Indexes ask another question. How are changing prices experienced by different kinds of households? They cover 13 groups, including beneficiaries, Maori households, superannuitants, 5 income groups, and 5 spending groups. And all households measure sits beside them for comparison. Each group receives weights that reflect its spending pattern. A superannuitant household is also a statistical category. It means the household's highest income recipient receives a government pension. It is not another name for every person over 65 or every possible retirement arrangement. If electricity takes a larger part of one group's budget, an electricity increase moves that group's result more. If mortgage interest takes a larger part of another group's budget, a fall in interest costs pulls that result down more. The index is still an average. It does not claim that every retired person's own costs rose by exactly 4.5%. A renter, a mortgage holder, a person living alone, and a couple with savings can have very different experiences inside the same group. The number describes a pattern. It is not a copy of anybody's bank statement. Housing makes the difference between the national and household measures even clearer. The Consumer's Price Index includes the cost of building a new home. The household living costs measures include mortgage interest payments instead. In the year to the June 2026 quarter, mortgage interest payments fell 15.4% for the average household. That helped keep the all households living cost increase at 3.2%, below the national consumer's price increase of 4.1%. But falling mortgage interest gave less help to groups that spend less of their budget on mortgages. Petrol prices rose 27.5% and were the largest annual contributor for every household group. They accounted for nearly 1/3 of the average household's increase. At the same time, electricity prices rose 12%. Local authority rates and payments rose 8.8%. Those are difficult bills to avoid. A household can delay a new television. It cannot easily turn off winter warmth or choose to stop funding the local water, roads, rubbish, and public spaces carried by rates. The pressure is not only the size of an increase, it is how much freedom the household has to respond. The official spending weights show the difference. Local authority rates made up 8.8% of the superannuitant basket, compared with 4.9% for all households. Household energy carried a weight of 5.4%, compared with 4.2%. Interest payments carried only 1.2% of the superannuitant basket, compared with 6.8% for all households. The falling interest cost was therefore attached to a much smaller piece of the superannuitant basket. The rising fixed bills were attached to larger pieces. New Zealand Superannuation adds another layer. It is a taxable public pension for eligible people from age 65. It is not reduced simply because a person has savings or other income, although residency rules and tax still matter. Rates are adjusted each year on the 1st of April. The law also keeps the after-tax couple rate within a band tied to average weekly earnings. It cannot be lower than 66% or higher than 72.5% of the relevant net average wage. That national formula supports stability. It is not a promise to match every movement in a retired household's personal bills at the exact time those bills move. One annual adjustment can arrive before later price shocks. A national wage or price measure can move differently from electricity, insurance, rates, rent or medical costs. That gap matters because just over 40% of people aged 66 and over in one-person or couple households receive less than $100 a week from non-government sources. For many older people, a higher power bill is not absorbed by a pay rise, extra hours, or a large private pension. It has to be taken from another line on the same fixed page. The 4.5% result is therefore useful in two ways. It shows pressure, it also shows where to look. For a household, the practical version can fit on one sheet of paper. Write down the large unavoidable costs from the same period a year earlier and from now. Start with housing, electricity, rates, insurance, food, and transport. Calculate which change removed the most dollars, not merely which had the largest percentage. Then mark which costs can be compared or changed and which cannot. That will not create a perfect personal inflation index. It will reveal the shape of the pressure far better than one national headline. For policy, the lesson is similar. One inflation number can show the direction of an economy. It cannot show whose budget has the least room left inside it. The 4.5% figure is not a separate economy for older New Zealanders. It is the same economy, seen through a basket with different weights.